We also have the SBI management speaking. Let's just listen it.
Or the guidelines will apply from now, the date which is run now.
So any cases which were referred to NCLT under the provisions of 12th February circular, because the guidelines were found ultra vires by the Supreme Court of India. So for all such cases, the reference date will now be 7th June. And the cases where lenders have taken decision to refer to NCLT, not as per the 12th February circular guideline, but otherwise also lenders have decided to take many cases to NCLT. Position in respect of those cases will remain unchanged.
So overall, what is your sense? I mean, does it bring much relief or life goes on as usual?
No, it is a very good piece of regulation in my view. It does not dilute the discipline, which was the fear or the apprehension. But at the same time, certain practical difficulties which lenders were facing and representations were made to Reserve Bank of India by Indian Banks Association, many of those suggestions have been considered in the revised framework.
तो जो पहले के जो केसेस है वो उनकी यथास्थिति बनी रहेगी जो पहले का बार
अगर जैसा मैंने कहा, अगर 12 फरवरी के सर्कुलर की गाइडलाइंस के हिसाब से आपने अगर केस रेफर किया था तो वो तो सेट असाइड हो गया था, उसको फ्रेश लुक 7 जून के सर्कुलर के हिसाब से करना होगा. लेकिन बहुत से केसेस तो ऐसे हैं जो वैसे ही लेंडर्स ने NCLT में रेफर करा था वो केसेस, उन केसेस पे कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ा.
So lenders can pass a resolution plan with 75% vote by value, but on the other hand, after the resolution plan is passed, it has to be signed by all creditors under the credit agreement. So isn't it contradictory, and how does
कोई
it work?
कंट्राडिक्शन नहीं है. Once you sign the ICA, then you are bound by that, and it provides for exit for the dissenting lenders, where the guidelines say that 25%, the liquidation value, that is what the dissenting lenders will get. That is the position even in IBC. What does the IBC say also? That any dissenting lenders, they get the liquidation value. So it is no different. But before even the ICA is signed, effort will have to be that the consensus is built, and the interest of the majority lender and the small lenders both have to be protected. There cannot be a guideline or a circular which does not protect the interest of the lenders who have a small stake or minority stake. But at the same time, after signing of the ICA, then it becomes mandatory and the exit route has to be.
So just to understand this penal provision bit, now, the RBI is saying that you have to make accelerated provisioning, and that is probably going to push bankers to use to resolve the case sooner. But the vast majority of public sector banks currently hold about 70% of their provision coverage ratio, and the RBI has put 100% as the overall limit for this accelerated provisioning. Now, essentially, there is no reason to fit into that timeline, because your penalty or penal provisions that you will face is not that much that you would have made anyway over the course of the year.
No, it has to be understood differently. If there are very legacy cases where suppose they are D3, then already you will be holding 100% provision, so that it doesn't get impact. But apart from those legacy cases, if suppose a case is there which is showing now sign of stress, then as per the regulatory guidelines, if it is a substandard asset, you provide 15%. And in 6 months, if you don't, then you provide another 20%. And if 1 year you don't, then another 15%. So mandatorily after 1 year, it will become D1, which is 40%,
But you
and
hold
plus
it.
35.
Yeah.
So in 1 year, if you don't resolve an asset, you will be providing 75%. So there is an accelerated provisioning, and which is, in my view, there is nothing wrong in it, because more or less it will get aligned with the what the LGD, historical LGD is, and it encourages early decision making and early resolution. So the spirit of the circular is either you dissolve or go to the legal process, but don't sit on the stressed assets or NPA.
So, but isn't consensus building to get all the lenders on board, especially some of the smaller banks, isn't that the bigger problem? And the circular does not address it because it does not enforce ICA before the
It
Delhi
can't.
case?
It can't.
Are you going to make some representation to the RBI, or
No.
how do you think this can be resolved?
We're not going to make any representation, we will give it a chance. What you have to understand also is that when somebody buys a stressed asset, they also look that 100% consensus should be there. No buyer takes a chance that 75% agree and then they will acquire the asset and leave the issue open. So that is where after signing of the ICA, it is in a way 100% settlement. Either you be a ascending lender or you be a dissenting lender. If you are a dissenting lender, you will be paid liquidation value. So if you look at from the buyer's perspective, no buyer, I have seen it in the past, will take a chance with any of the lender who has not been settled. So after signing the ICA, the rules for settlement and payment are set, which are more or less aligned with IBC. And before ICA in this specified period, lenders have to take a view that how to proceed. But if somebody is not signing the ICA, then they are free to pursue whatever remedy they want.
And what happens then?
Then nothing happens. Then suppose like one lender decides that I am taking it to NCLT, then you be part of the NCLT.
So what about debt conversion now? That is also being specified.
That is like whatever was in 12th February. There is no change in that.
So will it help some of the existing cases, you think, expedite matters?
No, we have to go again with the 7th June. That is my understanding. We have not legally checked because 12th February circular was held ultra vires. So anything which we have done in any case under 12th February circular, that was set aside, and the meter again starts from 7th June. That is my understanding of
So
the
all the
situation.
plans when resolution was passed, they stay.
If the resolution plan has been passed and it is this thing, so there is no need to change that.
So the revised circular provides a 30-day grace period now, the review period. So will that be enough given the kind of delay that we've seen in kind of resolution?
What we have to understand also is stressed asset. It is something like in ICU. If you keep on dithering and don't decide, who is being damaged? Not only the corporate debtor but the lenders themselves. And I think the speed of the decision making, what this circular or the guidelines encourage, everyone, all lenders should take it in the right spirit. And my experience is that if any stressed asset, if you decide early, then you can recover better. The more you delay, the more money you lose.
So talking specific to your bank, after this circular, if you talk about this quarter and this financial year in particular, how much of this positive or negative impact will have it on your balance sheet?
Not much, because already you would have seen that in March, the provision coverage ratio on the corporate book is 70%. And there are some good recoveries inside. So that way, like SBI, I don't think there will be any major impact as far as this circular goes.
Looking at other side, if suppose you are referring cases to NCLT, there is a reward for that. So are you looking benefit from that?
It will differ case to case basis. There cannot be a general rule.
But the,
And,
but the benefit
what-
is only when there's a delay.
So no, but what we are seeing also, like there are timelines for NCLT process, but in none of the cases the timelines have been followed. So there is a time value of money. And when we are deciding on any case, we have to keep in mind that what could be the possible outcome and the time taken to resolve under NCLT and what are the recovery prospects or the chances of resolution of a stressed asset quickly. And if we believe that in NCLT the process may be delayed, then the lender has options to pursue other legal options. And this window, I think we should use it for resolution within the given time frame effectively. And wherever we hit the roadblock or it is not getting resolved, then take it to NCLT. There should not be any hesitation for taking the case to NCLT.
What happens to specific cases like Jet Airways today that operational creditors have taken them into
It is there,
NCLT?
it is there.
NCLT still the best option?
No, that I am not making that statement that NCLT is the best option. If it was the best option, you would have not these guidelines. Straight away, where was the need for trying resolution outside NCLT? You can't clog the system also, that is also has to be understood. So there is no best or worst. As I said, that each case is different. A manufacturing unit is different than a service industry where there are no assets. And the views can be different. And the legal right of anyone, operational creditor or financial creditor, secured, unsecured, that cannot be taken away. That is what we have to understand very clearly.
सर 7 जून को ही आपने एक बड़ा फैसला लिया स्टेट बैंक ने, जिसकी देश भर में चर्चा हो रही है रेपो रेट के साथ होम लोन को जोड़ने का। तो इससे कौन से ग्राहकों को फायदा होगा और कितनी अवधि के लिए होगा, ये आपसे जब समझना चाहिए।
नहीं, एक मैं समझता हूँ कि काफ़ी सोच समझ के बाद ये फैसला लिया गया है और रेपो रेट से हमने लिंक कर दिया है। इसमें ब्याज तो हर महीने देना होगा और प्रिंसिपल रिपेमेंट 3% एवरी ईयर रिक्वायरमेंट रखा गया। बहुत छोटे लोन्स को इसमें एनकरेज करना ठीक नहीं है, क्योंकि इंटरेस्ट रेट हमको समझना होगा कि अगर नीचे जा सकते हैं तो बहुत ऊपर भी जा सकते हैं, उस पर किसी का कंट्रोल नहीं होता। तो इसलिए मिनिमम इनकम का क्राइटेरिया जो है एनुअल इनकम 6 लाख रुपए रखा गया है। तो और अगर उससे छोटा अगर इनकम ग्रुप है तो उसको मैं नहीं समझता कि ये उचित होगा कि उनको जो है इंटरेस्ट रेट के जो मूवमेंट्स हैं उसके ऊपर छोड़ दिया जाए। और ये वर्ल्ड वाइड मॉर्गेज मार्केट का मेरा एक्सपीरियंस है कि जो वेरिएबल रेट मॉर्गेजेस होती हैं वो बहुत कम दी जाती हैं, सेलेक्टिवली दी जाती हैं, और फिक्स्ड रेट मॉर्गेजेस जो है वही ज़्यादा पॉपुलर होती हैं और उन्हीं को एनकरेज करा जाता है। कुछ अच्छी बातें भी कर लो हाउसिंग लोन का या
So since you're just trying to understand it, what will be the pipeline of cases that will fall under this? I know you've been trying to resolve Samadhan, for instance.
Yeah.
It's been 2 years almost, hardly any resolutions have been found. Will those cases also now be tried under this, or if you could give us
अगर
some
उनको,
number?
जैसा दोबारा मैं कह रहा हूँ कि अगर एनसीएलटी में लेने का निर्णय हो चुका है और जो कि 12 फरवरी के सर्कुलर के बाहर था,
Sure.
तो उसमें तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई परिवर्तन होगा। लेकिन जो केसेस 12 फरवरी के सर्कुलर के हिसाब से एनसीएलटी में रेफ़र करे गए हैं उनका रिव्यू अब 7 जून के सर्कुलर के हिसाब से हम लोग करेंगे।
How many cases would
अभी मैंने देखा नहीं है, पर कुछ ज़्यादा केसेस नहीं है इस तरह के।
I see. So also what happens to ARCs? They bought a lot of loans from the bankers and are part of these consortiums. These guidelines don't take them into the purview. So how would that again work?
That is an issue where, like, of course, in circular, no specific mention of ARC is there, but their remedy is also the same. They can be part of the resolution still. Agree with the resolution, or if they want to pursue it outside this resolution framework, that is again their choice.
Sir, the guidelines also say that from the 1st of January 2020, the pool will increase to 1,500 crore and above. So, just trying to understand, how big do you think the stress asset pool will
कोई
become?
बहुत ज़्यादा बड़ा
It won't be that big an impact.
1500 करोड़ और 2000 करोड़ में ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं है, और 1500 करोड़ से नीचे कम केसेस होते हैं जो कि कंसोर्शियम बैंकिंग में या इसमें।
सर अगला ट्रिगर अब बजट की है, तो बजट को लेकर क्या उम्मीदें रहेगी, क्या मांग आप चाहेंगे कि बजट के अंदर कुछ ऐसा ऐलान हो जिसमें बैंकिंग सेक्टर को राहत?
बैंकिंग सेक्टर की स्पेसिफिक राहत की तो मैं बात नहीं कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन जो इकनॉमी में प्राइवेट सेक्टर का इन्वेस्टमेंट को रिवाइव करने के लिए और कृषि क्षेत्र में जो ज़्यादा और थ्रस्ट, ये 2 थीम मुझे लगता है कि इसमें होगी। और अगर जॉब्स क्रिएट करने के लिए जो सेक्टर्स हैं, जैसे कंस्ट्रक्शन सेक्टर है, टूरिज्म सेक्टर है, ये कुछ ऐसे सेक्टर्स हैं जिसमें कि जॉब पोटेंशियल बहुत ज़्यादा होती है। तो इस तरह के सेक्टर्स को एनकरेज करने के लिए अगर कुछ आता है बजट में तो वो अच्छा होगा।
So anything other than this specifically from the bankers' point of view that you'll be looking out for in the budget? Of course, public sector banks, capital requirements are being met on a regular basis. But
So that is all right. Like अगर कैपिटल का जो भी है, जिस बैंक को ज़रूरत है वो अपनी डिमांड रखेगा, स्टेट बैंक को तो ज़रूरत है नहीं। और जैसा मैंने कहा कि जो एम्फेसिस मुझे लगता है बजट में होगा, फिस्कल डेफिसिट को कंट्रोल में रखते हुए भी, लेकिन अगर ऐसे मेजर्स जो कि उन सेक्टर्स पे फोकस कर सकें जिनमें कि एम्प्लॉयमेंट जनरेट करने की पोटेंशियल ज़्यादा है, तो उम्मीद की जा सकती है कि ऐसे सेक्टर्स पे ज़्यादा ध्यान रहे।
So also wanted to get in a comment on DHF, and it caused a lot of nervousness in the markets last week. Or the repayment has now been made, but
how do you see the space evolving? You're one of the largest lenders in that consortium as well. Will you be looking at buying out some of the portfolios to provide them liquidity, or what sort of steps will banks
Will work out, will work out. Whatever the solution will work.
Sir, ICA was already in place, but it was not working well. Now, how do you see working it now since it has been mandated, or what will be the changes now?
नहीं, आपने खुद ही बोला कि अब मैंडेटरी हो गया, उसको रेगुलेटरी बैकिंग है और जो आईसीए में कुछ अमेंडमेंट करना होगा, तो एक तरह से मास्टर एग्रीमेंट वो फिर भी रहेगा और आईबीए का प्रयास रहेगा कि ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा बैंक्स एटलीस्ट जो आईबीए के मेंबर हैं वो मास्टर एग्रीमेंट साइन कर दें, जिससे कि कुछ इस तरह की मॉडलिटीज़ वर्कआउट कर लिया जाएगा कि लाइक एक मास्टर एग्रीमेंट भी रहेगा और उसके बाद केस टू केस अगर कुछ उसमें कोई सप्लीमेंट्री एग्रीमेंट साइन करना है. बट ये सब लॉयर्स के साथ बैठ के जो आईबीए की लीगल टीम है कि प्रोसेस को किस तरह से स्मूथ किया जाए और डिसीजन मेकिंग जो है वो उसको फास्टर डिसीजन मेकिंग किया जाए, तो ये आईबीए की मैनेजमेंट कमेटी में हम लोग इसको कंसिडर करें.
NBFCs are also mentioned specifically in this circular. Do you think it will have some impact?
ये एनबीएफसीज का जो मॉडल है, कुछ एनबीएफसीज हैं जो कि इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फाइनेंस में है या कॉर्पोरेट फाइनेंस में है, तो उनको तो इस फोरम पे लाना होगा. बट अदरवाइज़ बहुत सी एनबीएफसीज हैं जो केवल एसएमई फाइनेंस करती हैं या आपका रिटेल में है, तो उनको तो कोई इसमें फ़र्क पड़ता नहीं.
Overall, if you see that, again, I'll ask this question again because provisioning pe, have you already made enough provisioning that you will get something back, or you expect after this circular the provisioning will increase?
नहीं, मुझे नहीं लगता कि प्रोविजनिंग जो है ज़्यादा इंक्रीज़ होगा, क्योंकि 6 महीने का अब इंसेंटिव है ना कि आप डिसीजन ले लो. अगर 6 महीने में भी डिसीजन नहीं ले पाते हो तो फिर कब लो. तो इसलिए उसका ये मुझे नहीं लगता कि कोई एक्सीलरेटेड प्रोविजनिंग की इसमें ज़रूरत पड़ेगी. और मैंने फिर कह रहा हूँ मैं कि स्टेट बैंक में हमारा प्रोविजन कवर जो है जितना ज़रूरत है उससे ज़्यादा हमारे पास है, तो हमें वैसे भी कोई चिंता नहीं है. थैंक यू. ओके.
So, now that we